Okay, here we are. In the last part, Titanic hit the iceberg, and Mr. Andrews' pony started randomly talking to random ponies on the ship instead of actually talking to the crew and planning the evacuation like you'd think he'd do. And upon hearing Kaladin Fancy Pants Hockley, upon hearing this, instead of being reasonable and saying maybe we should get off the ship, is like, let's go back to the room. Your mom needs to talk to you. That's like saying there's a tornado, but oh, you need to take the dog out. There's a freaking tornado! Come on! I think that takes priority, but whatever. Let's go.
Will the lifeboats be seated according to class? I hope they are not too crowded. Oh, Mother, be quiet. Didn't you understand? The water is freezing and there aren't enough boats.
I wish they'd have. See, this is another problem. Like, they should have taken some of the time that they were panning on the Titanic in the previous shots and actually established this in a scene. Because that's what they did in the Titanic earlier. They're like, they established, oh, there's not enough lifeboats, so if it sinks, it's going to be a problem. But it's not going to sink, right? And then later on, the realization comes in, oh crap, people are going to die. Like here, this is the first we're hearing about this. Like, obviously, I'm guessing most people know that the Titanic didn't have enough lifeboats, because Titanic's pretty well known. But you shouldn't assume that. Like, this should not be the first time we're hearing about this problem.
Half of the people on this ship are going to die. Come on, Rose. Get in the boat. Goodbye, Mother. Rose? Goodbye. Rose, come back! Where are you going? To him? To live like a rat? I would rather live like a rat than to be with you.
Was the original dialogue too raunchy? Also, why does she need to go to him? Why can't... See, in the original, there was more tension. Like here, Jack Dawson Pony's just not around. You know, in the original, he was actually, like, chained below decks or something. I mean, you don't have to make it to where he was arrested, but, like, it's just the tension's not as much. She could easily just go and meet up with him. But, I don't know. Even looking... I guess there is tension, because this ship sinking, there's not enough lifeboats, but... I don't know. I'm starting to see that there were definitely reasons for including those scenes in the actual Titanic movie.
I found a few boats on the other side. Jack and I will catch next boat, right, Jack? Yes, sure. Go, Rose. Get in the boat. No, Jack, not without you. Get in, Rose.
So, literally in the previous scene, I'm going to leave you for Jack, and now they're all together. This doesn't make sense. This doesn't flow.
It's almost full.
Yay for leaving the love of my life behind? Seriously, what's with the smile? Yay, I'm on a ship and I'm probably not going to survive, so put a smile on everybody, come on.
I always win, Jack. One way or another.
How do you win? Again, this is like... A lot of problems I'm noticing about this is if you have not seen James Cameron's Titanic 1996, you won't understand what half this is getting at. Like, this... What a good... I'm not saying this is the worst thing I've ever seen, but really it should try to fill you in on the gaps. You shouldn't have to watch the original movie to understand half of what's going on. It should be something you can pick up and watch on its own, and it'll still tell a coherent story. And I just don't see that with this. There's a lot of plot holes and things that aren't properly explained.
Jack! No, Rose, no! Rose!
You know, I'd point out that the face doesn't fit saying no, 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 but I feel like if I stop and do that every time, we're going to be here forever.
Stupid. Why did you do that, silly? Remember, if you jump, I jump. I don't want to go without you.
Wow.
This is it, Rose. Remember what I told you.
Remember what I told you. When the ship's about to sink, I'll jump up and fly using my Pegasus wings, and you can grab on and not die, and neither of us have to die.
Hold your breath. Everything will be all right, Rose. Believe me. Yes, Jack. Ready? Go, Rose! Jack! 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 Jack, Jack, where are you? Jack, Jack. Every night in my dreams.
And this is another problem I've noticed. This seems a little bit too rushed. Like, what scenes did we have building a relationship between Jack and Rose in this? We had the scene where they met on the staircase, and then the one scene where they're discussing I don't want to marry Cal, and then they went to fly on the front of the ship, and then they had the scene where Mr. Andrews' pony discussed that the ship was sinking. I don't know really how that counts as a bonding experience, but okay. But other than that, I'm really not seeing a whole lot. Oh, and she jumped back on the ship from the lifeboat. There's that scene as well. But the problem with that is there was only scenes prior to that, so does it really warrant her doing that? Like, you need to build this up. You can't just rush relationships like this. I'm getting this was a fan thing, and maybe I'm being too hard on it, but it just, I'm not as invested as I was in the actual Titanic because there really wasn't any build up to this. It's just they meet and then all of a sudden they're in this big relationship, as opposed to in the actual Titanic there was build up. You know, you saw them growing, understanding each other more and more, offering each other's ways out of their situation. You know, here it's just they meet and they're meant for each other. Yay! Because reasons. It doesn't work as well.
Miss Rose, I've got good news for you. We found your mother. My mother?
Oh, so Thomas Andrews survived the sinking of the Titanic in this version, apparently. Okay. I'll roll with it, I guess, but that doesn't really match historical facts. But then again, Rose and Jack never existed either, so why am I griping about that?
It's my mother. And actually, someone wants to see you. Oh. Rose.
Well, I'm glad he lived. Did he fly is the question, though.
Jack. Rose. Jack!
Hell, that was that. How much? There's still like a minute left of this. What? Is there anything of note? Cutscenes? Outtakes? Bloopers? We ever gonna find out if Cal does always win, or if he went down with the ship in this version? It's just ocean noise, isn't it? Okay, I'm gonna start reviewing then, because I'm assuming there's nothing else coming. That wasn't bad, but it definitely could have been better. It felt rushed, and there were things that didn't make sense, and I felt like time wasn't used as effectively as it could have been. Like, when you have a short movie, every second counts. You need to use every second you can to build up relationships. You can't afford to waste it on big panning shots that don't really accomplish anything. And it was kind of confusing too. Like, the fact that I couldn't understand who was talking half the time, because the voices sounded fairly similar, and there was no indication on the character to like shaking them up and down when they were talking or moving their mouth when they were talking to indicate. It's kind of tough to keep track of who's saying what. Now, I didn't get super lost because I just saw Titanic and I remember most of these scenes, so I kind of get who's supposed to be saying what. But at the same time, for someone, as I've said before, for someone who has not seen Titanic, this might be incredibly confusing. So, again, I mean, it's definitely not the worst thing I've ever seen. And I do like that it had a happy ending. I wish I knew why Thunderlane lived, but he did live, so I'll take it. I just feel like maybe it could have been a bit better. Maybe I'm being too hard on this. This was clearly made in someone's recreational time. It's not like they're actually trying to sell a game. Like, I'd be much more justified in giving it hate if it was something like Big Rigs Over the Road Racing, where they actually sold that on real consoles and charged people money and the game was a piece of crap that wasn't even finished. Like, that actually is a real problem. Because you're a professional design company. You have a standard to meet. And you're actually trying to make money off your product. You damn well better make sure that the product actually delivers and is actually functional. Here, it's just someone who made it in their spare time. It doesn't need to meet those high standards. And I wish it would have, but I really can't give it too much flack for not doing so, because it's your free time. Do what you want. Put as much effort as you do or don't want into it. Yeah. That's that. Well, technically that's not that. There's still like, I don't know how many seconds left of. And there's another thing. Why did you put ocean at the end? Why couldn't you just use this time to actually, flesh out the plot a bit? But whatever. That's that. No, we're not watching this. Well, I might watch it after we're done, but that was that. It was interesting. Kind of. So yeah, there you go.